Election calendar is at its most critical juncture. The party primaries have a hard deadline to submit names of their candidates to IEBC by 22nd and 28th of this month. Party primaries are typically chaotic, shambolic, and violent. Candidates on nomination days are forced to stay on guard and attempt to edge out their opponents. But this time, both coalitions seem to have learned from the past and are attempting to actively diffuse the political fallouts through what is now called consensus and direct tickets. But here's the catch 2022. They may stem the fallouts, but they are also stifling the free expression of the party members. Don't you think so? Also, is this a newfound love for consensus, the ultimate maturity, or just the big boys deciding among friends and locking out the outsiders, including you, the voter? So many fundamental questions that we will seek to find answers to here. But here's the bottom line. Voters are on the edge, and whichever way the parties go, it is a delicate balancing act. And here's now what a section of voters told us we'll bring you shortly about their thoughts, and most of them are extremely angry and perturbed. With all due respect tonight, I do have Caleb Kositany, who's the MP for Soi and Governor hopeful for Uasin Gishu. We're expecting Jubilee, we're expecting also Ndarago MP Jeremiah Sioni, but we do have Jubilee Deputy Party Leader Engineer Peter Mositet on hand, while representing UDA, as I told you earlier, is MP Caleb Kositany. I'd earlier on heard from Caleb Kositany, but let me give you Mositet a chance to speak as the Deputy Party Leader. What do you expect Wednesday and Thursday, mostly on a balance of probability? Are you going to, more universal suffrage, or you're going to, so far, mostly is, the famed consensus for you?
Let me say that to our good aspirants who have already registered with us and who are ready, and they are already going on with the consensus, our exercise started on 11th. And we told our members that at least we'll want them purely to get local solution, not personally, maybe the leadership from the Jubilee headquarters going to interfere with our aspiring candidates. Where we have about 5 or even 6 or 10, we are telling them, can you even sit down? Can you sit down with your supporters and form a consensus? It's not us pushing that, at least this is the way we are going to maybe pick maybe candidates.
But what is
and what ourselves we've done,
yeah,
we have given ourselves the date from 11th up to 16th for consensus. Where it fails, then we go for the nominations at the ballot.
Okay, there's this new love for consensus. Help me understand what is the genesis of this consensus, because 2017, there wasn't really more consensus. 2013, we didn't even heard of this animal. Where is this new love coming from?
My brother, let me tell you, Kositany will even tell you that he could even be a beneficiary of what happened that time. People are going into the ballots, and you get maybe 100,000 votes, somebody else get 5,000, and from there, the list votes were mentioned that at least that is the winner. But this time, I think with them, they know exactly what they had done. Jubilee, that time, you remember, who was heading the nomination exercise?
Who? Tell me.
It was the deputy president.
You're a victim of that 2017.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Oh, yes.
Caleb, let me bring Caleb into this conversation. Caleb, and the question is this, because we've heard from voters, and we'll play some bites the whole day that we've listened to voters across the political divide. Where is this newfound love for consensus? Where is it coming from? And where do you attribute this sort of love for consensus? Because before, people went to universal suffrage. It was chaotic, shambolic, yes, but people felt involved in that nomination process. What is this new love for consensus, and where is it coming from?
Well, consensus is driven by very many factors. One key factor is if you have 2 people, strong candidates going for the same seat, then you actually need to build consensus and have them go for different seats, but go into the election as a team. That is what we did in Nyeri, when we had the governor and the gentleman who's running for senator now. His name has skipped my mind. And also Kakamega, where we had Boni Halwale running for governor and Cleopas Malala. And we eventually struck a consensus so that Boni can go run for Senate. and Cleopas Malala runs for governor. So that is what drives the main driver for consensus. The other issue, of course, is to try and limit the antagonism and the fallout that comes with one strong candidate losing and the other, and their supporters feeling that they were not treated fairly. Mositet has just mentioned there that he was a victim of the shambolic nominations that Jubilee had, and he's trying to lay blame on the deputy president. But I think the deputy president was called in to manage the first shambolic nominations that went on in Jubilee, but the second round, which he managed, went on very well. And I think these people should stop blaming the deputy president, because William Ruto is not an angel, he's not God. That he was everywhere at every time rigging out this one and that one and that one and that one. Yet he was actually there for the good of the party. I think politicians should also learn to accept defeat when they are defeated and stop crying, blaming others for their losses.
I must follow up that, because it's one of those sticking points, and perhaps based on that is why maybe there's this new consensus, because we're trying to find the genesis of it. Mositet here, I just want to read what he said in 2017. He said when he's announcing his exit from the party, together with the former Kenya Meat Commission chairman Tairaya Olekores, they claim that Deputy President and the former Interior CS Joseph Kaiseri were responsible for their woes. And that was Jubilee in 2017. Is there any, from where you sit, Caleb, from where you sit, is there any sort of traces of that whatever happened in the Jubilee sort of nomination in parts where Jubilee was strong, and this is, in Rift Valley and in Central and perhaps in Nairobi, do you see traces of that in perhaps this sort of new love and new front for consensus, that perhaps the shambolic, like you say, the first Jubilee nomination was shambolic, that perhaps the second one really showed that you should have talked to people a bit more and avoid the, the chaos that ensued?
Well, I think, building a consensus also depends on the uniqueness of the constituency or the county and how many aspirants there are. When you have two aspirants, it's always easy to build a consensus. For the case of Uasin Gishu County, currently we have 7 who are running for governor on a UDA ticket. That becomes very difficult to build a consensus. The more the candidates, the more the aspirants, then it becomes difficult to build consensus. We'll let the people decide. And I think we're going for the ballot in a day's time. We have actually wound up our campaigns today. So we're hoping, of course, I know I'm the best candidate, and I'm hoping the people of Uasin Gishu will elect me. And we shall ensure as a party that we hold absolutely free and fair nomination, which results are verifiable and will be certified as a true reflection of the voice of the people of Uasin Gishu County.
Mositet, yes. Caleb says that you should stop blaming the deputy president for the woes that faced Jubilee then and also faces Jubilee now. It appears from where he sits that you're not really divorced from this. He has a new party now. You should let him be.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me just first of all even wish Caleb the best in the nomination. Although I know already he has the ticket he himself.
Why?
That's how those guys conduct themselves. We saw it in 2017. The deputy president could not even give us a near that time. We went even up to the Jubilee headquarters, and he shut us off completely when he was now fully in charge, when he was directing that. In Kajiado,
the second time.
Yes, I don't want Mositet. The person I want is this. And he could direct the late that your orders is to make sure that these are the people who are going to be read as winners.
But why? What was the motive?
The motive was purely for 2022. You can see the caliber of people who were elected in 2017. Instead of representing the Kenyans in parliament, they decided to go into the campaigns to support the presidential bid of the deputy president.
Is this, for you see it, the sort of like the Jubilee problem? So the Jubilee problem did start?
No. As of now, Jubilee is completely not having that problem. The person who had brought that problem, he had been given the responsibility, with a very good heart that at least he was to do a good job, but he messed it. Now, at least Jubilee is completely new, and what we are doing, we are making sure that the whole exercise will be transparent. very fair ground is going to be given to all candidates. Our consensus, we are not forcing candidates that at least your conscience had told you to go for Senate, and then you are about 4. We are not telling people, you step down and then go for a particular seat. No. We are telling them, please, can you build consensus on the same seat? Can we get the best out of you who is going to compete with our competitors? If we don't get a consensus, then can we go to the ballot? Okay? Why are we talking of the consensus? Exactly what also Caleb said. We don't want fallout, and we want teamwork. The moment we encourage at least consensus, the results you are going to get, you'll get one candidate, and all those others are going to be behind that particular candidate on the same seat.
Okay.
Okay, but with them, they are calling people and ordering and saying, okay, you are going for governorship, you are about 4. 1-0, can you stop, go for Senate? Then 1-0 is declared that she is a senator for Nairobi.
What's the problem with that? Isn't that part of building consensus?
Well, to me, already her conscience was purely for governorship.
Okay. Okay. Caleb, what's your response to this? What do you sort of as UDA believe is the consensus? And what are the parameters for it?
You know, James, I think Mositet is quite idle in Jubilee because Jubilee has shrunk into a very tiny political party. There is hardly any competition, and I think those who fear competition, like Mositet, have decided to seek refuge in Jubilee. In Uasin Gishu alone, we have 351 aspirants running for 39 positions that are available. So you can see the majority of them will be left out. And I think maybe countrywide, Jubilee has that 359, or rather 351. But in Uasin Gishu, we have 351 candidates in one county. But I think Mosite should concentrate on the little matters that are there in Jubilee. He has not been appointed to speak for Wanjiro. He has not been appointed to speak for UDA. So I don't know why he wants to try and create an impression that Honorable Bishop Margaret Wanjiro is unhappy running for the Senate. We had very serious discussion, in-depth deliberation. We did an opinion poll. We shared it with them. We asked them to commission one on their own that they were satisfied with, that they would be satisfied with the results. And a lot has gone into building the consensus. And I think now we have the winning team with Sakaja going for governor and Wanjiru going for the Senate. So I think what we really need to appreciate is Jubilee ran into problems because they refused to respect democracy. They refused to accept the alternative voice and listen to it. And that is why Jubilee has found itself where it is right now. In UDA, we are having a huge headache on how to run the nomination, and it's a real process. People are not sleeping. They're working 24 hours in the office trying to ensure that we have a free and fair process because the party is large, the party is national, the party is democratic. A lot of Kenyans feel comfortable in UDA, and they have confidence in the party leader, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, who will be the 5th president in August. So I think it's good that they should learn. Jubilee will learn. I wish Mositet well. He doesn't have to go for nomination. He's going for the main elections. But I want to assure him that after the nominations in Uasin Gishu, I will be traversing the country. And if I find myself in Kajiado, Paul, my bro, I'll be campaigning for the UDA candidate.
Mositet, I need to finish this one before I go to the next one. There's fact that Jubilee is not what it was in 2017 or even 2013, right? So your nomination sort of problems and troubles are maybe not the same scale as Kostani correctly puts as UDA and maybe, the other side of your coalition partners here as ODM.
I don't think so. In fact, if you look at the response of those people who came requesting at least to aspire.
How many aspirants do you have?
In total, we have about 7,000.
7,000.
Yes, and he's talking of about 350.
That's what Uasin Gishu alone. Caleb, how many aspirants does UDA have countrywide?
5,800.
5,800.
So there is no way Jubilee has 7,000.
Okay, gentlemen, I have no way of verifying these facts. But the good thing is we do have an entire time to go through the next questions about universal suffrage. And most importantly, why is this stifling, if you like, democracy? And from these two sort of coalitions, where would you put your best bet in driving democracy forward. I do have Caleb Kositani with me from MP Soy going for Uasin Gishu governorship. He's in Eldoret. I do have with me Mositet, former Kajiado senator, here with me, and deputy party leader for Jubilee. Don't go too far with all due respect.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
As Dr. Funiken Mamakai hosts unscripted true life relationship experiences on reality TV show Kupatana, Nia, Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. and Kupatana every Tuesday and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Terms and conditions apply.
Wow, ni hao Mozart wanapeana hao. We, funga mshipi alafu wekelea multibet. Wow, ni hao na kuna mshindi wa senke daily
for 30 days.
We, funga mshipi alafu wekelea multibet.
Wow, ni hao Mozart wanapeana 4 bedroom. Hit the longest one multibet daily. Ushinde hao. Kuwa mshindi. Mozart.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust. Try Panadol Advance. With Panadol's Optizode formula, the tablet absorbs quickly and starts providing fast and effective pain relief you can trust. Try Panadol Advance.
Make this feel like this with a few sips of this. Get going with Go Fruit Juice, now available in 500 ml on the Go packs.
Maritime Tips brought to you by Kenya Maritime Authority. The Mombasa-based Regional Maritime Rescue Coordination Center, RMRCC, is operated by the Kenya Maritime Authority. It coordinates maritime search and rescue emergencies in the Eastern Africa search and rescue regions. It provides a communications center where seafarers, sailors, fisherfolk, vessel operators and the public can call in for help in cases of distress while at sea. The center is always on a 24-hour watch to ensure prompt receipt and dissemination of distress messages from ships and vessels. The center shares piracy information with relevant authorities and also monitors oil spill incidences. Kenya Maritime Authority, for safe and efficient water transport.
Almost 250,000 people die on the road in Africa each year. Follow these safe steps and help save lives. Just one drink can increase the risk of a serious crash. Short-term remedies such as coffee or energy drinks don't help. If you need to travel, take a taxi or public transport, or just stay where you are. So when you're on the roads, follow these safe steps and help save lives. We all have a role to play in road safety. Together, let's make Africa's road safer.
Maisha usipojituma huko nje ufanye ujikaze, yani utatokwa vitu zingine zitakupita. Atachali yako utatokwa.
I mean every word. Aisha.
Yale mawaidha ulinipatia yanafanya kazi. Richard ni wangu.
Josh, sulko umesema hutaki kukaa, unatoka tu sahi.
Hauniesha anapatia story moto, hebu relax. Hebu niambie, nampa massage, namkata kucha. Vyakula vitamu. Mbona cheki na napata Richard wewe?
Richard ni wangu.
With all due respect, welcome back. Now, the question of direct tickets, consensus, or universal suffrage has been dominating airwaves, and it's been part of the political play in 2022. And the question is, where does it arrive, or does it help in sort of building democracy, maturing democracy, or actually stifles our growth into democracy? And so far, I have the two gentlemen in studio, and we don't seem to have consensus exactly if both sides of this debate are advancing democracy or they're stifling democracy. Mositet, for you, I know you still have hang-ups about 2017.
No. I healed and I forgave the deputy president. I just wish he can also equally heal and maybe even ask for forgiveness to what he did to the whole country.
What did he do to the whole country?
Look at Central, the product of 2017. Okay, he just brought people who are not purely voted in by the Wananchi in the nomination exercise. Okay.
How do we prove this? From where you sit, how do we prove this? Because it's always been a claim.
Yeah.
Right. How do we prove?
Do you want to say it was just a coincidence that all the very, very senior politicians had to fall?
Why not? Why not? Caleb, what did the Deputy President exactly do in 2017 in Jubilee?
Well, the Deputy President presided over the nominations of Jubilee, and the best candidates won. We had no complaints, neither did we have anybody going for a petition in Mount Kenya region claiming they were rigged out, especially during the Jubilee nomination process. The issue that seems to pinch Mositet is the fact that majority of the current members of parliament are no longer in Mount Kenya region, are no longer in Jubilee. And it's not because they were voted in by the Deputy President. They have moved to Jubilee, out of Jubilee with their electorate. In fact, anybody who is listening to the ground genuinely in Mount Kenya region has moved either to UDA or away from Jubilee. If there are those who maybe have moved out of Jubilee but would not want to be associated with UDA because of the intimidation and harassment that they would undergo, but they have left Jubilee. I sat one day with a friend of mine, a former member of parliament, he will remain nameless, who is running for a governor in a certain county in Mount Kenya region. And I told him, why don't you join UDA? And he told me, oh, UDA is so crowded and I don't have enough money to go through a nomination, then the general election. Then I told him, okay, fine, you are safe running on Jubilee. Then he says, never. We can't even mention that name in Mount Kenya region unless you want me to lose. So he said he was shopping around. Either he would run independent or he'll go to another small political party, but definitely not Jubilee. So I don't think the Deputy President had anything to do with those who were elected. It's just that the Jubilee was the most popular party. Those were the most popular candidates. We have, for example, a person like Imani Ichung'wah, who was elected unopposed in 2017. Was that the hand of, and he's now in Kenya Kwanza Alliance and in the UDA party.
Okay.
That was not definitely a hand of the Deputy President. So I think we should stop crying foul and everybody running helter-skelter, trying to blame the Deputy President for their own failures.
Okay, Mositet, from where you sit, as we move forward, whatever happened in Mount Kenya, Central Kenya, of course, has bearings of what's happening now. The Deputy President, if you like, and UDA claim they have popularity and most popular candidates in Mount Kenya.
Definitely, they succeeded on what they wanted to do.
Which was what?
Because he just wanted a machinery to start campaigning immediately. These people, they never even worked. Have you ever heard them really advocating even for proper representation in parliament? All they did was purely to go to the field, start bashing the president, start, blaming the government, which actually they are part of. Okay, from 2018 to date, consistently they went on campaigning until they formed the party. Okay, they started fighting within. Until now, they saw that. Now, I think the best thing, because we are also being pushed, because we have been seeing that our maybe the core thinking is purely to debate, to engage in politics, is to bolt out, and the way to bolt out is to form another party called UDA. Then from there, now they go on blaming the government. For any good thing the government has done, the Deputy President has always said, oh, tulifanya hii, but anything, maybe at least things are being fixed. Oh, hapa, at least munawaona, wako hivi. Even akina Caleb, the same.
So the question for me is because this is, I mean, we're talking about this nomination fallout, and this, in my view, what I'm hearing, this nomination fallout from Jubilee in 2017 has lasted the entire 5 years, all right?
Yeah.
Is that a correct statement? Would Kenyans be free to think that the fallout from 2017 has lasted 5 years?
Yes, I can say that. One, you see, for example, the part of, actually after the elections of 2017, we had those who are thinking that the best thing is for them to start campaigning. And there were those who are like, less work for the Kenyans. And that was the president and his team. Okay? But in parliament, were they being supported by those who are voted in? Not all of them. Okay? And the deputy president went on, tangatangering, doing all manner of things. Okay? To me, at least, whatever he wanted to achieve, he achieved.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
Because all what he wanted to do is to make sure that he will go on at least making sure that the government will be blamed by the common mwananchi simply because of them not cooperating fully as people who are part of Jubilee.
Caleb, is that a correct representation of what happened? Was the fallout of 2017 in that nomination and whatever happened in that election, is that what formed the basis of the fallout in Jubilee from where you sit?
Well, the basis of the fallout in Jubilee was, as I had mentioned earlier, a failure by the leadership to listen to the voice of the people, and more so to listen to the voice of the elected representatives of the people. Jubilee, we have held about 3 PG meetings since we were elected in 2017, and all of them were monologue meetings. We never had a debate. We never had a chance to speak to the president. He only came and spoke at us. There was hardly a time when he spoke to us. He spoke at us. And, imagine, James, when you are called for a PG meeting, when you get to State House, you're told, be there by 8. You get there at 8. You're told, leave your phone and your watch in the car. I don't know what they're scared about, members of parliament. And then you go and sit approximately maybe 2 hours waiting and dining. There's all sorts of 7-course meal for breakfast. And then the president walks in and the meeting lasts hardly 10 minutes. It's actually, that is where the problems, the rain started beating Jubilee, because we felt unwanted.
Okay.
Then somewhere along the way, we are told there's a monster called handshake. And then we are told it is about peace, which to me, I really disagree with this issue of the handshake, because it's like we are saying, losing an election, get people to the streets, destroy property, block roads, then you are called in and told, okay, come for a handshake so that we may have peace. And that's, you're now a good man because you have caused problems and refused to accept election results. And so you're being rewarded for causing violence. I think that's not the way to go. So we ran into problems. Then they introduced a monster called BBI. When the economy was nosediving, they decided it was time to create positions. And as Mositet has said there, that we started blaming the government. We must blame the government because we speak for the people. We were elected by people. We represent Mama Mboga. We represent the border. We represent the rich. We represent the poor. And right now, it's a shame that we actually voted for this government. Look at the fuel crisis. We're running into a month of Kenyans queue. The Kenyans queue to vote. Then they queue at banks. Then now they're queuing for fuel. Honestly, it's not fair. It's a big shame, and this government should just finish and go.
Allow me to push you back on this point, because I've had, and I've been on this studio severally, when UDA and His Excellency the Deputy President have said, UDA commands the numbers in Parliament. You have the majority members of Parliament, at the very least, who are sympathetic to your cause. Why hasn't UDA provided a parliamentary way and route for solving some of these problems that you're talking about?
James, we have the numbers, we have the majority as a single entity. But whenever we have any agenda to push, the small parties gang up, Jubilee included, and they attain the numbers to defeat us in any motion that we may bring. And that is why they managed to push BBI through, but we thank our courts for being highly independent and transparent,
okay.
And we succeeded on the line of court in the court. So I think there's nothing much we can do in Parliament because of the combination of the small parties that come up. Some of them even vote and they tell us, "Listen, boss, I want to survive. Let me just vote, but this is not the right thing I'm doing." But the party has decided so. But some of us are democratic enough, and we said no to Jubilee's intimidations.
Okay, I want to circle back. How do you stop fallouts, if you like, and what really, from where you sit, Jubilee, do you foresee fallouts? I mean, already with your coalition, there's a big problem with the question of running mate and that sort of thing. How do you stem fallouts?
Let me not deal with the issue of maybe the running mate, but on the issue of the nomination exercise itself, we want to provide the aspirants a very, very fair ground for transparent nomination exercise. The consensus exercise itself, we want also to make sure that it's driven locally. It's not us calling them and telling them now, we will close this door and until you get one particular candidate, whom particularly we are even saying is Mr. So-and-so, then we will not allow you to come out. So with us, we are allowing them to make sure that in the consensus building, they bring the correct candidate, and from there, the entire team go behind that candidate. That's one way at least to make sure that we don't have the fallout. The other thing, we are not issuing direct nominations. We don't have somewhere where we are saying now, at least among the two candidates, there is a direct nomination.
But that's in Jubilee. What happens in the bigger coalition that is Azimio?
In the Azimio, for example, at least if you try to look at an area like Kajiado purely, apart from Kajiado Central, the rest of the seats had been won by Jubilee. So we are saying
so
that
is
area,
that zoned for Jubilee?
That area we shall leave purely to Jubilee, and then we make sure that at least for Jubilee, they also go and make sure that the candidates they get are super candidates, good candidates, who will not be pushed over by the UDA candidates.
Okay, let's talk about the coalition. I mean, I'll go back to Caleb because of still the nomination is you do as a party, but then all these political parties that sign up into your coalition sort of have candidates. Case in point, in Nairobi, for instance, you have an ODM candidate, you have a Jubilee candidate. What's the choice that Azimio is giving to Nairobi residents, for instance?
The Azimio will also look at it also the same. At least they'll just make sure that we have the intelligence reports and also even the polls, that which candidate is stronger, and then the Secretary General.
Who provides the intelligence reports?
Of course, we can equally also do polls, and after getting the polls, definitely we'll know, okay, among the 4 candidates, candidate A is stronger than the rest. Out of that, we can call them and tell them now, out of this party has the best candidate. So the Secretary Generals will sit together and they'll make sure that at least they manage the rest to rally behind that particular candidate.
All right, taking a short break. When I come back, I'll come back with Caleb and speak specifically on the questions about UDA and where UDA also has strong candidates and the coalition has other candidates. Will there be zoning, with all due respect?
In the spirit of Kenyanness, we have come together to help our brothers and sisters affected by drought. Join us by dialing *126# to donate bonga points, cash or food, and lift one another in oneness. Pamoja tuungane.
Are you a HELB beneficiary with an outstanding loan? From the 1st of March to the 30th of April 2022, we are offering you a 100% COVID-19 penalty waiver. Kamilisha malipo yako ya HELB leo.
All our dreams can come true, and HELB is the best place to empower our dreams. Kamilisha malipo ya HELB.
Take advantage of the 100% penalty waiver and clear your HELB loan today. Terms and conditions apply. Higher Education Loans Board, empowering dreams.
feel it, it's real. Coca-Cola, real magic.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust. Try Panadol Advance. With Panadol's Optizode formula, the tablet absorbs quickly and starts providing fast and effective pain relief you can trust. Try Panadol Advance.
Maisha usipojituma huko nje ufanye ujikaze, yani utatokwa vitu zingine zitakupita. Atachali yako utatokwa.
I mean every word. Aisha.
Yale mawaidha ulinipatia yanafanya kazi. Richard ni wangu.
Josh, sulko umesema hutaki kukaa, unatoka tu sahi.
Haoni Aisha anapatia story moto, hebu relax. Hebu niambie, nampa massage, namkata kucha. Vyakula vitamu. Mbona ucheki na napata Richard wewe?
Richard ni wangu.
All right, with all due respect, welcome back. Right now we're talking about nomination, the headaches the political parties they're going through, and how they're trying to resolve them is either through consensus, direct ticket, or universal suffrage. Caleb, I want to come to you on both three counts. And the question for us and for you, dear, I think we'll get back to Caleb. We've lost connection there. The joys of connectivity and, as they famous say, the mitambos. But I was going to ask the problems and the questions where, both parties have, strong representation. And if you like, for UDA, strong representation in huge parts of Rift Valley, Nairobi as well, and, bits and pieces, of course. Obviously, Jubilee, the biggest headache and the biggest problem has been on Central Kenya. And the question that I see from online here, the question for Jubilee is that people say that you don't actually have the best of candidates in Central Kenya, for instance, that the best of candidates are either independent or are in UDA. How do you respond to that?
How do you rate that we don't have the best? How do you say our candidates are not better? Yeah. We've not gone to the polls? Yeah? How did they determine that already theirs are better? Yeah? Who did the exam? And the exam is voting? We have candidates, and very strong candidates. Yes.
Your candidates are strong in Central Kenya. You have the best of candidates.
Yes.
You're talking to me briefly about the situation in Nairobi, and here's the question, and I just want to follow briefly on that. You, Azimio, as a coalition, has, ODM candidates, and Jubilee has a strong candidate, or, as you go to the nomination on Thursday, we'll see who the candidate is or should be. So is there a chance that you're going to subject all your candidates into, the final ballot, or after this nomination, you're going to have another session to sort of moderate those results and say, so between ODM and Jubilee, can you present one candidate in areas that you're strong, for instance?
Well, at least as an Azimio, where Jubilee is a coalition partner, all I can say is that we will not have so many candidates towards the ballot on 9th August. Take this one from me. We'll make sure that at least we only have one strong candidate who will face our opponents.
So the idea is to make sure that in any area, an Azimio candidate is one as opposed to several.
Yes, just one.
Talk to me around the spirit of democracy in that. Why all these parties, I think in Azimio is 23 or 25 parties, why do they sort of cobble up and join you if at any point there is going to be just one candidate, that they would not insert sort of democracy in between and allow people to decide?
Okay, one, definitely they will also want to have the share in government when at least we form the government. And why so many came, it's just a question like, well, do they want to be in the opposition like UDA, or they want to be in government? So that's why we have so many coalition parties in our group.
And supposing you don't win that election?
It's so obvious. It's obvious. This one, Baba is a fifth. The other gentleman must be prepared to be in the opposition, maybe for 10 years. Then after that, he can try his luck. That time, maybe Caleb will also be maybe saying he's a better option than maybe the deputy president. We'll see.
And we're still trying to get Caleb Kositani back online. We have since lost him, but he's hearing this and he will come back with all the responses. Talk to me question, Caleb, I think we finally got Caleb back. And yes, and I was going to throw this question your way on the question of the coalition partners. Today, UDA signed eight parties signed into the Kenya Kwanza coalition. What happens in areas where you have a strong UDA candidate, maybe another candidate, say ANC, a strong candidate? Are you going to subject all of them into the final ballot, or there's going to be another moderation after we see this sort of Thursday nomination?
Yeah, one of the unique counties that we have very popular, very strong candidates is Kiambu County, whereby we have two aspirants under UDA for governor, Senator Wamatangi and the Honorable MP Jango. Then we have Kabogo, or we also have Waititu in UDA, so we have three. Then we have Honorable Governor Kabogo, and we have Moses Kuria in his Chama cha Kazi outfit. So for that, we shall do our UDA nominations, and then the winner, whoever emerges the winner in UDA, will now face off with Kabogo and Moses Kuria in the general election. And that is, the governor of Kiambu is already predetermined. It will be either one of those who are in the Kenya Kwanza alliance. So we have no problem there. In most areas now, I think we're still trying to build consensus as we go along. But where we will not be able to reach a consensus, then we shall allow them to battle it out on the ballot at the general election. And I don't think that should be a problem. We shall hope the best candidate from Kenya Kwanza wins whichever seat that would be.
From where you sit, Caleb, what is the most democratic thing to do? And this is, of course, a philosophy question and a question on ideology, that once you have people in the coalition, should you moderate afterwards and say perhaps this coalition, Kenya Kwanza, for instance, will bring one candidate to the ballot, or the Kenya coalition will bring several candidates and you can choose any of these? What is the most democratic thing from where you sit?
Well, politics is interesting because the ultimate person who will decide is the people. And there is no politician who absolutely has a zero vote. Every politician has supporters here and there. So the best thing to do is, if you can reach consensus whereby all those who are running for the same seat would agree to then support one candidate whom they've all agreed upon, that would be good. But where they can't agree, then the best is to go to the ballot and let the best person win. So that you don't have issues of somebody saying I was forced to step down in favor of candidate X and then having fallouts with his supporters. So at times, if it's a consensus, then all aspirants address and the media the way we did with the Kakamega issue. And Boni Kalwale said, I've stepped down for Malala to run for governor, and that is it. And that's how now they're doing joint campaigns on the ground. And I think we are safe in Kakamega that we shall have a Kenya Kwanza governor and senator and several members of parliament.
What's the most democratic thing to do, Mositet? To allow this sort of consensus building and say these candidates have agreed and they'll go to the ballot, or withdraw one person and say, as Caleb says, former competitors becoming, colleagues and campaigning together, going on the hunt together, if you like. What's the most democratic thing?
The most democratic thing, first of all, will be to allow, of course, each and every party maybe to exercise its democratic right to have a candidate. And then from there, at least as a coalition, we see among those candidates who can really produce the best results. And then from there, definitely, all what we want is a winner. And I believe, other than the winner at least, are we going to form the government? Because if all of you go and then you fail, what happens? You'll find yourself to the opposition. And that's why in Kiambu, there'll be so many in UDA. They talked of about 5. And our Nyoro will be there. He's already the governor there, and he will beat them.
So talk to me briefly around Kiambu. Caleb has talked and said it's inevitable that with their 3 strong candidates, one of them eventually will win. all right? The UDA will have a nomination. They'll pick one person, either Komatangi or Django, one of them. You know, Moses Kuria would be there with his party, and the former governor will also be there with his party. All of these are UDA, right?
UDA or coalition?
Coalition Kenya Kwanza, yes.
The first thing, I don't know their agreement, but I can see them, even some of them, trying to jump out of the coalition before the elections. The way Jubilee is already operating in Central, it looks silent, but it's very dynamic. Just remember that we just started our campaigns just about a month and a half ago. Currently, you go and check, at least they are coming down and we are going up.
So at Central?
Yes, at some point.
How do I verify that?
Just go to the ground and you'll hear. Initially, you could not hear anything like Jubilee. But as of now, we have candidates for all positions, okay? In fact, you go like the MCA positions, we have so many of them. You go for parliamentary, the same. And that's why we are even, as of now, saying between 11th and 16th, we are talking of at least consensus. After that, we say, can we then allow them to go to the nomination, maybe through the ballot, and we pick the best.
Caleb, the same question. I mean, it's, and still on Kiambu, the interesting scenario that Kenya Kwanza faces there is wondrous and interesting and important. Perhaps Azimio faces the same in Nairobi. You have strong candidates, you know, in UDA nomination. Then you have, you know, partner political parties going for the same. Isn't there a chance that, you know, you might split your votes, if you like, in this and eventually lose that seat because we presented three strong, potentially, as, you know, if you follow your thesis, candidates?
I don't think so. I think the voters will decide on who is the best candidate. And as I don't think Jubilee is gaining, as my good friend Mositet is trying to claim. I think if anything, Jubilee is losing more. We can see the troubles they're having in the Azimio coalition. The Wiper and the Oka group, partial part of the Oka group, are not happy. So I think in UDA, in Kenya Kwanza, we are happy. We are confident that the next governor of Kiambu County will be a Kenya Kwanza coalition governor.
Okay, your response?
You know why I'm laughing is, at least my good friend Kositany knows very well, when they started UDA, they never wanted any partnership. And Akina Moses Kuria all the times were being bashed, okay, that they can go completely. But as of now, they have been invited after being abused.
What's your reading of that? What do you think happened?
To me, now they are going, of course, you know, because they have no other alternative. Or maybe the UDA found that now they have been beaten by Jubilee, it has woken up. And it's like, now, why can't we accommodate them? In fact, it was a second thought. It was never in their mind that they'll even have a coalition. Even Akina Musalia, they just went also as a second thought, you know, that after UDA, so that they'll be beaten by Jubilee and the Azimio coalition. In their mind,
so they're responding to Azimio and Jubilee.
Yeah.
Caleb, there's some facts here. The deputy president called most of these parties village parties, if I remember correctly. Yeah. You know that they can't even, you know, win some seats away from their local communities. What changed? What changed for UDA to create a coalition?
You know, James, the game of politics is there's always changes. There are many changes that occur in politics that will shock you. Who ever believed that with the deputy president having stood by the president all those years, since 2002, that it would reach a point when the president would actually torment his deputy? Who ever believed that at one time the official government, the government party, the ruling party, would defect to the opposition? Who ever knew and believed that one day President Uhuru Kenyatta would work with Raila Odinga and despise William Ruto? So about UDA changing its mind and allowing a coalition, as they say, it's only a fool who doesn't change his mind. It was a very wise decision. It was a decision that was in fashion at the moment. And I think Moses Kuria is not complaining, neither is Kabogo, neither is ANC or Ford Kenya. So I don't think Mosita should let that rest and allow us to run our coalition as they sort out the major problems that they have in their coalition. We signed a document today, a document that all the parties, the 8 parties, went through. They made corrections, they made suggestions, they have their full input in it, and nobody signed a document that he had no information or did not participate in its preparation and in the messaging that went in. So I think, as somebody, I saw a tweet by somebody who said that the Kenya Kwanza group is very, very organized and lethal, and I think that's exactly what we are.
Just before I go, I want to talk briefly about ideology, because all the questions I'm seeing tonight is, that both camps, Azimio, Kenya Kwanza, there's literally nothing of ideology that separates the two. And these are political vehicles. And as soon as you cross, August 9th, they're going to be disbanded. And Jubilee is a perfect example for this. Mositet, what really separates Jubilee, Azimio from UDA, Kenya Kwanza?
One, at least you can see that in Jubilee, our candidate is not hungry for power. Or, just going like flat out. It's nothing short of capturing power. But in UDA, you can see it's this time or never, okay? It's either I get this, and whoever is maybe in front of me, I'll crush him, or maybe I'll, with us, we are saying, no, let's just systematically go into the election, knowing very well you can win, you can lose, but we know very well we are winning. But with them, they have already panicked.
So that's the key difference between Azimio and Kenya Kwanza.
And you can see they have panicked. By the time they formed the Kenya Kwanza, it's simply because of panicking. But look, they brought the ANC and the party of my friend Senator Wetangula. I doubt whether he will even himself again win there. So let's see what will happen.
All right, Caleb, what's the difference of ideology, if you like, in very many words or short words? What differentiates UDA, Kenya Kwanza from Azimio? What is that sort of ideological divide?
Well, UDA, we actually are speaking the language that resonates well with the common mwananchi. We are speaking economic change. We have given a proposal and we have said that we are going to run the economy from the bottom up. That really separates us from the Azimio coalition. We have said our priority is not to change the constitution to create a few jobs, but to ensure that we change the economic model and we ensure that we create many jobs for the millions of jobless Kenyans. That is a major difference with us. We believe that our constitution, yes, it has problems. It has areas that require amendments or total change, but we believe at the moment it's about economic recovery. Life is hard out there. Kenyans are suffering. They've been living at $1 a day, and now they're living below $1. And that's very, very, very serious. And that is where we separate ourselves from Azimio. Azimio believe in sharing positions, signing quick agreements, and you can see now that Wiper and part of Oka are complaining that there's a lot of conmanship in Azimio, because how do you sign a document publicly with a political party in the front of Kenyans and then go and make amendments without the other political party knowing? How do you trust such people to run government? And Mositet has claimed there that our presidential candidate in Kenya Kwanza is power hungry. William Ruto has never sworn himself in. William Ruto has never refused to accept election results. William Ruto has been a very loyal deputy president. At one time, President Uhuru Kenyatta left him in charge of the country as president and went to ICC and came back, and he was welcomed by William Ruto, and we did a huge convoy along Jogoo Road and Outer Ring Road, and we went back to Harambee House and handed over power back to President Uhuru. I'm sure, even with those who President Uhuru is within the coalition, Azimio coalition, he cannot trust leaving them with power even for a second. So I think Kenya Kwanza is the right place to be, and I think we have the best presidential candidate who has ideas, who speaks and the people listen, and he knows what he's saying. He knows what needs to be done in order to change the lives of Kenyans.
Okay, Mostet, you're not running for any position in this election?
I'm not running, but I'm managing our party and make sure, first of all, we'll not have any fallout. All candidates will be given fair moments so that at least we can get the best. And at the end, we are going to form the government.
All right. Caleb, am I talking to the next Uasin Gishu governor?
Well, yes, James. I think you know me, and you've known my track record as a member of parliament for Uasin Gishu. And one time I was the Deputy Secretary General of the Jubilee Party then. Not this one here of Mositet and the team. So I think I have what it takes, and I appeal to the people of Uasin Gishu. On Thursday, the 14th, vote for Caleb Kositane. You'll be voting for the best governor you will ever have.
All right, Caleb Kositane, wish you all the best on Thursday. Please come again and again. Thank you very much for your time this evening. And the people of Uasin Gishu have listened to you and wish you all the best in that. Steve Mositet, wish you all the best in the coming nominations. And we hope that your team gets the best
from the next government.
Be as it may.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. With all due respect, do have a lovely night. We do this every Tuesday on this station and at this time. My name is James Bart.